experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Lisa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Stars for episode number 5, recorded on Monday, September 15th, 2014. We are all together tonight in the Taris Cantina, during the Imperial occupation, of course. And joining me tonight is my good buddy Lou.
Hello, Fred. Thank you for the welcome. Hello, everyone. Hello, Twitch, YouTube. What's going on?
And Paige is here too.
It's Captain Kimbre.
And Kimbre, the wannabe captain, is here as well.
Wannabe captain? I fly the ship.
And Treek is here. We're not on the ship.
Then why am I here?
And Zizi is not here because we sent him to the Republic occupied, not Balmora, but Taris tonight.
To hunt bounty?
To hunt rackles.
Oh, those aren't worth anything.
We left ID-10T on the ship. I hope he's not breaking anything.
Oh, if we have a ship to come back to. Oh.
You left him in there unsupervised. Better not be in the cockpit right now.
Who is going to supervise him? We're all here.
Send Treek to supervise him. Never mind. That's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, because we want to leave 10T and Treek alone on the ship together.
Yeah. On a capital ship, we want to leave them alone. That's awesome. Just more things to break.
That doesn't seem like anything bad at all would happen. Alright, and we actually have a shout out this week to Jay Connell. He wanted us to mention that he's looking for 3 other people to go in on with him for a Gauntlet 4-pack. And he says that is scheduled to release on September 23rd. And anybody that's interested could go ahead and get a hold of us here at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com, and we'll forward the information over to Jay. And you can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. We're also available on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast, or you can send us an email, as I just mentioned, at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us at StarWarsBeyond, and we record this show live at 7 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/SHT Gaming. So, Paige, what do we have coming up in the captain's log that you have written on a primitive piece of paper since we're not on the ship?
Coming up in the captain's log, we have our weekend game. Patch 2.10. I said it right. Highlights. We have Agent Olan's intelligence report, and Lou will present the Kuat Drive Yards Part 1, plus the weekly winner of Agent Olan's... I almost said Olan.
I thought you were just belching in the middle of that sentence.
No.
We have the weekly winner of Agent Olan's.
No, I'm just stupid. Okay.
Quick, somebody mention Quinn.
That's what was happening. Okay. The weekly winner of Agent... I can't.
Ulan? Agent Ulan?
I've had a little bit of sugar, and it's devastating. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right, and I won't laugh, I promise. Plus, the weekly winner of Agent Olan's Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in our Community Hollow feed.
I love how you had to brace yourself for that one.
I did. I had to like totally poker face. I couldn't look at anything, and I had to focus.
She just stared down at the table.
We're at a cantina. I may be drinking.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think you've been hitting the jaw with juice a little hard.
Oh,
Lou, you've been lacing that stuff with hang spice?
maybe.
Get
But before we go to that, we have something quick to mention. And as always, since tomorrow it's Tuesday, it's going to be patch day for SWTOR. Or is it?
Dun,
it's-
dun, dun.
Yes, and this is coming from Tate Watson from the official SWTOR forums. As of Monday, September 15th, Tate acknowledged there will be no downtime or patch tomorrow for the launch of Preferred Access, as we will just be flipping on access for those accounts. And that's for tomorrow, September 15th, 2014. Well, since there's no downtime, there's no time duration for that at all. So, logging in tomorrow morning, you should be okay. However, there's something else to add for that. We are getting this, the player base. Tate also acknowledged, yep, the console's Stronghold pack will be released tomorrow at roughly 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time, or 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And we also had something quick to mention from Courtney Woods, where she says, hello everyone, we will have a special Twitch stream tomorrow with lead writer Charles Boyd, taking on Ricotta Prime and then teasing something else. I have no idea what, after the Flashpoint. And that's going to be at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And where's it going to be? At the SWTOR Twitch channel. So tune in if you have time tomorrow, folks. I wonder what they had going on.
I wonder if they're going to be teasing the end of the year expansion.
Yeah, maybe drop some hints on 3.0. Ooh. That would be something.
Yes or no, he's going to get to the end of Ricotta Prime and then tease my new Cellcat companion.
Ugh.
Well, Self-Cat don't speak basic.
That doesn't stop him from being a companion.
That's true. I mean, we have Runemark.
We got Treek.
Goopa noopa.
Shut up, Treek.
We also have ID10T. But,
We don't have him today.
thank goodness.
Oh, that reminds me, Lou. Right when we were leaving the ship, he was kind of wheeling himself into your room where you keep all of your weapons and fancy gadgets.
Oh, do you know what this means? We may not have half the ship when we get back there.
You know, just be happy that Treek isn't alone in there. She probably would poop all over everything.
Well, that's easy to clean off as opposed to the type of gadgets and toys intelligence lets me play with. We may not have half the ship when we get back.
Well, I mean, technically, half those things aren't even approved by intelligence.
What's this? A grenade?
Leave that alone. Put that-
I mean, I have an Imperial Dreadnought that I'm not supposed to have. I'm not allowed to have. Didn't stop me.
I may have smuggled a few things onto the ship.
Should have seen the look on that Moff's face when I broke his neck with the Force. In fact, it's right here in this jar.
Oh, get it off the bar!
I passed it to Lou
Wait, how long have you had this?
since your promotion.
Oh, it's been a while. Okay. Are you keeping it next to Master Orgus?
Yes, and Grand Moff Kilran.
You took... Oh,
Ixnay.
it's okay. You know, I wanted to honor myself, but thanks, jerk.
You're welcome. Would it make you feel better if I gave you Darth Malchus's lightsaber hilt?
Ooh. A worthy trophy. Thank you.
You just carry things like this in your pocket to whip out any time in the middle of a conversation?
I don't have pockets.
Oh, God. I'm going to drink alone over here. Okay, thanks. Don't
Well-
know these two losers.
Well,
Come
according...
back.
Listen, my inventory, I have all the rows opened up. So I can carry a ton of stuff on me.
I don't so much carry the stuff on me so much as I reach into my robe like this. And I pull things randomly out of my cybernetic implants.
This is taking a weird turn.
Would you like a piece of gum?
No!
Whatever. My armpits don't melt it that much.
Oh my God. That's so nasty.
So moving into the captain's log, What have you been up to this week, Paige?
I had to write everything down because if I don't, I forget what I do. And I realize I haven't done a lot, but I have. I felt like I've been online a lot. First, I'd like to say that I gained Legacy level 23. I know that I have a long way to go with that, but I'm not really making it a priority. I'm making progress, and that's okay with me. I'm not that concerned with it. I did a few flashpoints. The only reason I even mention that is because, truthfully, I haven't bothered to do any flashpoints on my main because I did my progression through planetary quests in my class story. A little bit of PvP sprinkled in there. So the ones that I did, they were all new to me. The Zerka Corp Labs was new. Whatever the Manon one is, that one was new to me. And then, of course, I got thrown into Legacy of the Ricotta. Just touching on that, I feel like it was easy. Not too easy. I liked the end. I'm not going to say what happens because not everyone has done it yet, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Moving on,
Lou, you want a Twizzler, Lou?
Oh, thank you. Oh, throw milky.
Hey, you took it. I'm not taking it back. No takey backsies.
Why is this happening?
Oh, continue.
While I was standing on the fleet, I happened to be working up my trade skills. I was working on... What was I working on? Underworld trading. The reason I was working on that is because I was trying to get my companion's affection up. Last week I mentioned that I was working on Kim Vol. I did get him maxed. We're best friends now. We're totes BFFs. He loves me. I made him love me. Next, I've been just bringing out companions as I've been getting the companion gifts and just seeing who likes what. And since Andronicus and Talos are next, they're getting most of the gifts. With Talos, I've almost maxed him out. Like, he really loves everything I just give him. And I'm so very thankful that with all the affection I've gained with him, he has never tried to flirt with my Inquisitor. Because he's so gross.
Talos is so freaking old, he's impotent.
He's so icky, and I can't stand his voice.
He's like a twig.
Yeah, I don't want to make fun of his appearance because I didn't want to be that person. But yeah, I mean, he is disgusting visually. Anyway.
Look at him.
Anyway.
You're not gonna tell me that he's not corroding from the inside out.
Stop.
We could get him a few cybernetic implants if you really want to make a go at it.
Negative.
Cha-cha-cha-chia.
Moving on. Speaking of flirting. Are you done having outbursts?
Maybe.
Is it my turn to be interrupted constantly?
Yes.
Okay. Put a lid on it, please.
Hey, I'm sorry, I won't interrupt you
I was saying.
anymore
Oh my god. Speaking of
than I am right now.
I quit. Anyway, speaking of flirting, with Andronicus, I did gain some affection with him, and I was trying to keep the conversation with him civil because he did flirt with me a little bit. I didn't accept his advances because my character's not played that way. And I wasn't a jerk about rejecting him. I would just say things like, oh yeah, I do my own thing or whatever. But he did not appreciate that. Every time I gained affection with him by giving him gifts and then turned down his advances, my affection with him would take a really big hit. And, I mean, really, I was trying to let him down easy. I wasn't picking the mean thing to say. So come on, Andronicus, that's like peer pressure. Like, oh, if you don't flirt back with me, then I'm gonna hate you. I mean, come on, don't be like that. When I was working on my underworld trading, though, I noticed a few things when I was standing on the fleet that just bugged me. And the things on the fleet that got on my nerves is I just got spammed with guild invites. I'm not in a guild for a reason I don't want to be. And I had someone walk up to me and just do this auto invite thing where they don't even speak to me first, and I declined. And I was busy, I was doing something, and then this guy just started whispering me. He's like, can you just join? No, it's really rude to do that. If you're one of those people, I hate you. And speaking of spam, it seems like in SWTOR, there seems to be a lot more like credit spamming than there is in other games with gold spamming. Like, is that just me? It seems like it's just insane.
Well, it's not that SWTOR gets more spamming than the other games. It's that SWTOR does less about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not any better or any worse. It's just that I notice, from my perspective, I don't see a lot of moderation going on in the actual chat channels from the game. I mean, yeah, you can report all you want, you can ignore all you want, and that's one thing I like to add in there if you don't mind. Ignore lists should be account wide from now on, because I really hate when I hop onto different characters, since I'm a, unabashed alcoholic, seeing the same credit spammer I just saw a couple hours ago on my other character. Again, like, please, for the love of God, BioWare, make the ignore list account wide.
Please.
It would save people a lot of headaches.
The last thing that I wanted to add was, in the cartel market, Fred happened to see a W4K2 astromech droid. I bought that astromech droid because it's purple and it's adorable and I love it. Purple's my favorite color. He's like purple and white. He's really cute and he follows me around. He's my new best friend. Besides Kimball, who I made love me. It's kind of like forced friendship.
And Andronicus, I can't imagine why he didn't love you when he would come at you and be like, I love you. And you're like, the trash needs to go out.
That's my weekend game, though.
Well, Lou, did you try to romance Andronicus as well this week?
You.
Actually, on any of my Sith Inquisitor characters, I don't think I've romanced any of the companions yet for some reason. Because I'm always using the Chem Val or trying to figure out ways to use Ashara as a companion. So, I just find it weird that I'm playing the game for how many years and I get to do that on those classes. That's a good class.
Your options seem to be very limited, because if Talis isn't an option, then that would mean your only possible option, which I'm not even sure if he is, would be Zalek. And that leaves you with only Andronicus.
Yeah, exactly. Not much of a selection there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a male, your only option is the weird alien chick.
Oh, come on, she's not so bad. But
no,
anyway,
she's only grotesque.
It's a Gruda hater. That's all I'm saying.
Are you calling me a speciesist?
I might. I mean, we do work for the Empire, so there's that.
Hey, Lou, let me show you my racial ability. Don't you know agents have that shield? Sorry. Anyway. You're not an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh, is that a plug for another comic company? But I've been doing Bounty Contract Week every day, and as many characters as I can. I've been doing them, as I said, for the bulk of my characters on Jedi Covenant. Well, the ones who are, I've leveled to do them, because I do have a bunch of characters on JC who are still in the low teens, like they're still either 11, 12, 13, or 14 yet, so they're not able to pick up the Bounty Contract stuff yet. Which kind of miffed about. I should have been working on it before. I knew this was coming a couple weeks ago, and I should have, at least gotten at least 2 more of my alts up to 15 at least do those, but I didn't think about that, so shame on me for that. Missed that opportunity. But I hit the cap on Friday, but I'm still doing the dailies anyway. Still doing collecting the rep tokens, and I guess I'll wait till tomorrow whenever maintenance is done, and just hit the rest of them up. And I should hit hero status with the Bounty Brokers Association, which is cool. Although I still don't like any of their armor. I'm not going to get any of the armor. I'll probably just get the weapons for a couple of my characters. Trooper, maybe for the agent. Bounty Hunter armor, I'll probably cave in and probably slap it on my Bounty Hunter, but that's for later on. I'll get more on that later.
Yeah, but I mean, geez, the way that they changed it, how many contracts do you have to do to get a whole set now?
I counted it. It's actually, you need 15 contracts for the entire set if you want to get all the pieces in total.
That's it?
Yep, 15.
Oh,
if I remember.
I know, like, the HK customization and stuff is 50.
Yeah, the customizations are expensive, but to get the actual pieces of armor, I know, I think the headpiece is 3 contracts. The chest piece is 3. I think the gloves are 2. And even in the chat or you two can correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. But yeah, I think in total you just need 15 contracts to get the entire set of, at least one entire set of armor, or at least the first set of armor you can get from Bounty Brokers Association.
Yeah, that's not too bad then.
Yep.
But I do think that HK is way overpriced right now.
Yeah.
For that customization.
Yeah, and guess what? He gets customization, and who doesn't?
Let me guess. Scorpio.
That's right, Scorpio. Still doesn't get one. Shocked.
There's gotta be another companion out there that doesn't get a customization.
Well, I haven't found one yet, so that or I just been ignoring it on all my playthroughs. So I'll find out eventually. And while doing the whole thing for Bounty Contract Week, I screwed up one of my achievements by mistake. You know how you track the various bounties, like you're supposed to, like one instance you're supposed to actually capture them, and then the other one you're actually supposed to kill them.
Yes.
All right. I made the mistake of actually killing it the second time around on my one character. I screwed up that achievement, and for the life of me, I forgot which one it was. I'm like, for the past 2 days, I've been looking on Dolphies trying to figure out, all right, who the hell do I have to kill? Which achievement am I missing? So I'm going to probably have to do that later on tonight and track that down, and hopefully I'll snag that later on tonight, because I still have a chance to fix that mistake before tomorrow, before the event goes away. Wait a minute, the event's not going until it's the 19th? So I thought I had a few more days. Or is it tomorrow to just go away?
It goes away on a Tuesday.
Tuesday? Shoot. Okay.
So,
all right,
today would be the last day for it.
All right, so I definitely got to figure out where figure who I should kill again. Or
Now's when Lou just hangs up and goes in-game.
Exactly. Oh, technical difficulties. Gotta go. Bye. Then I'm on the server for the next 4 or 5 hours trying to fix it. However, one thing that I actually was very pleasantly surprised to see while I was doing it the past, the entire week, was that I actually noticed on a couple of my bounties, a little line of players waiting at the actual marker point. Where you're supposed to actually initiate the event.
That is my one criticism for the event. I wish that they wouldn't send you to a specific spawning point and you could just go to any spawning point on the planet and summon your bounty.
Right, I mean, that would be nice for convenience sake. And also, I really wish that, like some people would be more open to grouping for doing this content. Although it would be kind of hard to actually determine like who actually kills or who actually captures the bounty. The one thing I did want to bring up, though, that I really liked is the fact that, on some planets there were actually a line of players, like not a lot, but maybe 2-3 players waiting just outside of range, of the encounter, and just standing there waiting. No one's jumping in, no one's being a jerk.
Then they watch you wipe, and then they just
Although I did watch one wipe. We were like, ooh. We actually felt bad, like, oh damn, do you think we should have helped him? Like, oops, sorry, man. Oh, he was all right with it though. But I did feel bad for him. It's like, crap, we should have helped him. And this is one I was on my Sith Sorcerer, so I could have healed him. I was like, oops. Damn. Next time, guy, I got you back.
I'm really bringing you over to the dark side.
But it was great, actually. People, just lining up there, just patiently waiting their turn. Just small talking while the other player is just completing the task, which I really like. Because a lot of other games, a lot of MMOs I play, where you actually have something set up like that, you will see people jumping all over the place. Stepping in there, jumping in, and basically trying to cut other people off because they just want to get in there, finish it, and get out. Here I'm finding that you have a player. I'm finding players who are just, they're willing to wait. And I don't know if that sounds cynical, but that's something I like seeing in MMOs. Like, you have a player base that's not in a rush. People are just generally kind to each other. Hey, you know what? Let him or her play for a bit. I have a couple minutes. I'm not going anywhere, so why not?
Yeah, and generally, if you reach out to any of those people and ask them to help you, they will.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that happen on a couple characters. For some reason, my first Jedi Knight had a hell of a time trying to solo some of those bounties on Alderaan. And when he'd be there, someone else would be around. I'd ask him, I'd be like, when I summon this, can you help me? I don't feel like face planning again.
And and that's great because I've actually done that. I mean, after when I first saw that player die, when I could have done something, from that point forward, I've actually taken time to actually help. If I'm on a character that can help, especially if I'm on healing characters like my operative or my Sork, I'll actually help heal that player's companion or the player themselves if they're the one tanking or DPSing. I'll heal them instead.
Yes, and I love when people do that. When I engage in that battle Because if I'm doing it on a level 30 character and there's a 55 standing there, if they just jump in and kill the thing in like 3 hits, like, I appreciate that, because this isn't the type of event where I want to be out there struggling to do it on my own just to be like, yeah, I'm doing this myself. No, this is something I want to get through and then get on my next character and do it again.
Right, because you're building yourself and your characters up, toward those rewards, which are, again, I may not like a lot of them, but they're there, and there are characters that I have that can use them, so why not work for them anyway, And as I mentioned earlier on, I am probably going to cave in, and I probably will get, at the very least, that cowboy pimp hat for the BBA. That's what I call it, at least. You know which one I'm talking about, folks.
Oh yeah, that hat that was made specifically for Doc.
Yeah, exactly. And like ZZ mentioned last time, like, okay, so a hat like that, that's supposed to be heavy armor. All right, you got me. I believe it.
Well, it's supposed to be adaptable armor.
Exactly. Kind of like how the dance's outfit on the social vendor is supposed to be heavy armor.
Actually, I think that armor set specifically is supposed to be medium armor that's made for the gunslinger type character, and the other one that looks like Boba Fett armor is supposed to be the heavy armor. Because I think Bounty Contract Week is set up for gunslinging mercenaries and bounty hunters.
Well, but it is something, though, I really wish they would kind of like the other stuff where you had different items available for the different classes. There are, if you think about eight classes, okay, and at the very least maybe one, not asking for a lot, maybe 1 or 2 things to differentiate. All right, this is what a Jedi Knight can get. This is what a Sith Warrior can get. That's tied to, or at least has ties to, something they've done for the BBA, which I think would be really nice. But that's on a wish list for later on.
I mean, heck, let's take that off of that wish list and let's just put that in general gearing. Even current gear that you can get off of commendation vendors, it all looks like the same gear but in a slightly different style. You don't actually have gear that looks like a Jedi Knight robe or anything like that. It all looks like basically some kind of cybernetic trooper gear. Yeah, especially with the the odds attachments on especially on the gloves, the bracers, or on the shoulder, or especially on the boots. Oh, I hate that like the claw look on the boots and the shoes. Yeah, for some reason, when I got noshed to 55, I had a whole bunch of Warzone comms saved up, but I had no interest in actually doing PvP on the long term with him, so I just wanted to get some of that gear off the vendor just to change all the mods and actually use it. Mm-hmm. I was happy to find out that all of it was adaptable, so I could go to every class vendor and just buy the piece that I like the look of and build it myself. And the Sage / Shadow armor was the ugliest stuff I've ever seen because it actually had wings on the back of it. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, there is no way that this dark side Sage is going to be running around with wings on his back. Yeah, or like as Super mentioned in the chat, spiked shoulders, not very Star Wars-esque. Not very Star Warsy. I could see Sith with spiked shoulders. Well, not like some of the armor sets we've seen, where it's like the spikes are 1.5 feet long, 2 feet. Like no one in their right mind wears something like that. Well, stab yourself in the head, eventually. That's just like you got some armor sets where you'll wear it and it's like a toga type thing. Like it covers one shoulder and the other side's just there, and it's like, who would wear this in Star Wars? Well, we've seen some really weird outfits in the movies anyway, so I guess SWTOR's not alone in that regard. Yeah, I guess. But that doesn't make it better. No, it doesn't. And speaking of wasting money, I was wasting credits in a great way the past week. So getting all this money is just buying, I guess there's a new slew of mounts that are out there on the GTN. I guess a lot of people opening a lot of packs and getting all these different types of mounts, so a bunch of my characters, I just been buying, a new vehicle here or there on each of them, just for variety's sake. And for this, I completely blame Road for Torcast for this, because I know he's got a collection of vehicles. I guess one whole household could be dedicated to all his vehicles he has, so he's my inspiration. And besides some of the vehicles, I actually like how they fit more to what my characters look like anyway in the game. Like it supports how I play my character. Like I try to find the really sleek looking vehicles for my agent, and as opposed to like the rough, gruff, like
I guess broken down looking ones for my bounty hunter. Like the hot rig speeder bike.
I just try to color coordinate mine. I find a color of speeder that matches whatever I have my character wearing.
Nice.
The hot rig speeder bike, unfortunately, I don't really get to use that one very often because it is a slower mount.
Right. Well, my bounty hunter fits because she's only 23, so the speed, it doesn't matter. Because she's at the tier 1 name for speeder piloting, so no big deal there. I can wait. And speaking of mounts, like I've written those OMFG. Have you seen the GZ4 Command Walker mounts?
Yes.
Okay, those are the ones that look like. Those remind me of the, if you watch episode 3, the ATRT Walker mounts the clones had when they were on Kashyyyk. Holy crap! I want one of those.
Did you see the mounts that guilds get when they conquer a planet that they can ride on that planet only?
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah, they get their own walkers just for that.
Yeah, and I think the Empire gets the dark gray battleship gray looking one, and the Republic gets the cool looking red one. I think it should be the other way around. That's just me though.
Well, I don't think the Republic should get anything because they can't conquer any planets.
Anyway, speaking of walkers and troopers, well, I am continuing to unlock Elam. So I started the story quest there. Just doing that so I can unlock the dailies. And of course, open up that source of revenue for my trooper. And with that, I just picked up the Oricon quest line for my Sentinel. I realized I had not actually started anything on Oricon. When I went there, I was like, why is this whole thing, dark or black? Like, oh, duh, I haven't started the quest line. So back to the fleet, picked up the quest, and back in and just started. I just landed. So my Sentinel's parked there right now at the landing area. And about to kick off the quest there. Speaking of credits and dailies and stuff, you ever notice every now and then when you're on the fleet, whether it's Republic or Empire, you're going to hear players complaining about being broke.
Well, that is typically what the fleet is there for.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm going to mention any names, but I recall a certain Jedi that was spamming the fleet at one point asking for some credits to get to Corellia.
Yeah, exactly. Players, it's especially funny when I hear players in their 50 plus and they're saying they're broke, and I'm like, I'm going to add my 2 cents to my 2 credits here, like every other wise guy in the chat right now, because you mentioned that, you broke. There are dailies everywhere. Why are you broke?
I mean, it's bad enough that they actually put in these little terminals that will transport you to the daily area for free.
Exactly. You just go to your ship hangar and it's right there. Outside, before you even enter your hangar, it's right there saying, do you want to go to Section X? Do you want to go to the black hole? Dude, you even get to skip the entire animation to get you getting on your ship and flying out of the fleet.
Yeah, but that those were put there because somebody was like, I don't have the credits to fly to insert Daily Hub here.
Yes. Which amazes me, like, what are you doing?
Because some people would say they just put those there to skip the loading screens. But if that were the case, it would still charge you the same credits the fuel would charge you. But those were put there specifically for people that were too broke to be able to fly there.
It's... Yeah, I'm trying to think, because as I wrote here in the notes, I mean, even if you do just the original set of dailies, okay, which would be the original section area of Belsavis, not Section X, the first area of dailies for Belsavis, okay, Elam and the Black Hole, all right, and again, skipping all the heroics on all those planets, you should be making up to close to 200,000 a day, all right. And, that's not even doing the new dailies that are out there. And new, I mean, doing Section X, doing Oricon, doing CZ-198. Okay? And heck, even the GSI dailies that are out there now. Once you get a level on McKeb, what opens up? GSI dailies on McKeb, GSI dailies on Alderaan, Tatooine, Hoth. It's like, how are you out of money?
Well, there are a lot of players out there that take the stance. Well, I don't want to do dailies.
Well, then then don't complain about being broke. I mean, they're there for a reason. Yeah, I mean, yes, it can be a repetitious grind at times, but after a while, I guess for me, I get settled into a rhythm where since you know where everything is, how everything's done, you should be able to do them in no time flat.
Yeah. Especially the lower level ones, because when the level cap goes up to 60, you're going to be able to breeze through Belsavis and Ilum.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on my 55s now, I breeze through, again, the first section of Belsavis. I literally destroy the original set of dailies.
But we're getting to the point now when the level cap goes up, they're going to have to give us a daily hub where it's more difficult than the old ones, but it pays a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, everybody's just going to do the low level ones.
Lou, you're always going to have that, though. People are going to want to complain about a problem. They're like, hey, here's a solution. Well, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah, I know. And as Jay mentioned in the chat, he used to love dailies. Then he transferred to PvP server. Yeah, I'm the same way on a couple of MMOs where I actually have characters on PvP servers. I don't hate doing dailies, but I fear them because of in those areas the dailies are open up to everyone, especially like for World of Warcraft. When I was playing Mists of Pandaria and doing the dailies there, the faction rep dailies, holy crap! It would take me 2 or 3 hours to do them because every minute or so I was always fighting for my life or helping someone else on my faction fight off other people from the other faction. I was like, you know what? I just want to do 3 dailies in this area, and I'm here for an hour because I'm fighting Zerg, or I'm fighting off this one annoying jerk, this one stealther who just doesn't want to leave. So yeah, I feel your pain, Jay. And Jay, yeah, I still do Belsavis because you know what? It's money. They're easy. It's easy money. That's why I always include them. I mean, I can't turn down. It's like at least 4, 5, maybe 6 quests in total in that area. No, wait. 3, 4. Yeah, at least 6 that take not even 20 minutes to do, and it's free money.
Well, we should also say a lot of those people that are sitting on the fleet saying that they have no money, chances are they're probably not broke. But when they look on the GTN and there's things listed on there for 20 or 30 million credits, even if they have 1 or 2 million in their inventory, they're like, man, I'm broke. Look, they're selling one item for 30 million.
Wow.
And let's face it, there's a lot of money out there in the SWTOR economy.
Oh, there is, yes.
And I think that the casino event had the opposite effect of what they were hoping. I think they were hoping to take a whole bunch of credits out of the system. But a lot of the people that have some of the most money only paid minimal amount of credits to get the Rancor, and people that are broke scraped by and kept scraping by, doing dailies every day, and by the time they got the Rancor, they were still broke.
Yeah, and that probably would have been me.
I know by the time I got the Rancor, I spent almost 2 million, and I'm not the kind of person that normally has even 1 million on me at any given time, because I go out and make credits when I need them. I'm not the kind of person that gets on every single day and does dailies and just hoards money for the sake of hoarding money. But I know, talking to Buckeye when we were playing together, he even said to me, he's like, it just blows my mind how you guys talk about having money issues, because that's never been a problem for me. And that's just how it is. You have some people that are in that upper tier that always have money, and it's not just in SWTOR. You have those people in every MMO.
Right.
They have ridiculous amounts of wealth, and people like me, and sounds like you, Lou, we wonder how they got that wealth.
Well, I'm to blame for my issues because I've been upgrading all my characters and companions. So once that stops, especially for my operative, my sorcerer, and my marauder, I'll just be going back to doing dailies and just banking that.
I think that right there is the key. I think you just hit the nail on the head, because back when Korv was my only character, I had plenty of money in this game. But as soon as I made the decision to start making alts, I also made the mistake of funding a lot of the stuff that they wanted to do so it would be easier, like crew skills and all that. I paid for with Korv's money. Every time they needed upgrades and all that, exactly. Korv's money.
I did the same thing when I was leveling up right now my bounty hunter, was feeling the benefit of all my 3 other max level Imperial characters on Jedi Covenant. And also, when I was leveling up my Sentinel and my Trooper, I was sending money from my Imperial characters to them to help ease their process and getting gear and upgrades and stuff. So, Yeah, I kind of see where the money goes. But I'm not bemoaning it. I'm just like, I'm just saying it's hard for me to understand why people say there's nothing or no real way for them to get money in the game. When it's like it's right there. Everything's right in front of you. Why don't you just get out there and do it?
The safest way to level up alt in any game is when you make an alt, you need to treat it like it's a character that basically treat it like an alternate main. You don't give that character anything that they don't earn on their own. And if you can actually manage to do that, you'll not deplete any of your main's bank account doing that. But the temptation is just too strong when you know you have a whole bunch of money on one character and you're starting over with nothing on a new one.
Exactly. And I'm kind of glad that we're leveling on Shadowlands, our leveling group, because then I definitely would have been feeding my sorcerer on Shadowlands with money for my other characters. Just to get gear and stuff.
Well, I will actually say I have my level, well, he's 53 now, my Guardian on Shadowlands that I do dailies with, but I haven't given anything to that Sith Warrior that I play in the leveling group. Everything he's gotten has been just by playing with you guys and earning what he has.
See, I don't do what you guys do. I don't give my ults anything. But my main isn't rolling in the dough either. I make it, I spend it.
It's because you're one of those people that refuses to do dailies.
No, I still make money, but then I spend it.
Well, yes, you make some money, but in terms of when people do dailies every day, they end up with tens of millions of credits on their account.
That's doing too much.
It doesn't even take that long.
Nope.
I just don't like repetition.
And that's the key. That's why you have the people that have and the ones that don't. Because there's only two ways to make a whole bunch of money in this game, generally speaking. Either you're doing dailies every single day, and probably on multiple characters, or you're buying stuff out of the cartel market and selling it to other players.
No, I mean, like, if I find a piece of gear, like on my Inquisitor, that I know that my bounty hunter could use, I'll send it to her. But as far as giving them money, no. I'm the same way in real life. If I can't afford it, I don't need it. If bounty hunter can't afford it, then Mama Inquisitor's not helping you. Sorry about your luck, sweetheart.
I've taken that approach lately, and the only time that I will send characters money is if it was a character that I leveled up during double XP weekend and they don't have enough money to train their skills.
Oh yeah, that I definitely do the same thing with that too.
Wow,
Yeah.
we got off on a tangent.
No, we didn't, because we're talking about leveling stuff. And speaking of leveling, my sorcerer there with the group, with our leveling group, is 18. And we still have that one portion of a planet to finish on TK. We haven't even touched the Dark Temple yet. If you think about it.
What?
Ooh, where's your mind at, man?
Oh gosh.
We finished the Dark Temple, remember?
Did we?
Because then the next week we did flashpoints, and now we're on the
sorry,
next
dude.
planet.
We're already level 20, and we're headed to Valmora.
Yeah, we are 20. You know what?
That's my assassin. Oops. I don't want to talk about my assassin. Damn it. I'm going to sorcerer instead. Alright. So, scratch that, folks. My assassin is now 18. And I'm about to touch the Dark Temple on her. So. Alright. Sorry for that mix-up.
Lou was confusing me.
Hey. You try having multiple halts on multiple servers.
I've been drinking too much. And I'm so old, you shouldn't be letting me drink this with my medication.
Oh no, I don't mix stuff like that yet.
That sounds like a wonderful little cocktail. What you got there?
Oh, but speaking of the Sith Sorcerer, for the living group though, I need to grab that customization from Ken Val with the one who has the armor. That
It's
armor.
like that orange armor?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
orange
gold
one?
orange. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's the only look I can stand to have.
There's a whole bunch of them that he has armor.
Well, no, this is the one where he actually has like the armor plate on his back, the bracers, gloves, and leggings. That look.
Yeah, there's several of those. For just about every skin you can get on Kimval, there's one with that type of armor.
Yeah, Fred made me put that on my Kimball because he couldn't stand to see him running around in his loincloth anymore.
That's exactly why. Then when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, you're getting that. Put this on."
I didn't care. Well, I was
Yeah.
like, whatever, you're naked.
You can actually go to the collector's edition vendor, and there is a version of Kimval that has green skin, and he's in armor.
Wow, you know how long since I've been since I visited the CE vendor on the fleet?
There's another one on the
It's
security
ages.
key vendor on the fleet where he has blue skin and has on armor.
Eh.
And just about every skin you can get for Kimval, like the red one, the red and blue one, no matter which look for him you like, you can get him either in the loincloth or in that armor.
You gotta understand, like, Fred really, really forced me to put this customization on him. He's like, why don't you get him a customization? I was like, nah, I don't care. Then he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and then one day he's like, I bought you that customization. It's like, wow.
And mind you, it wasn't tradable, so I actually had to get on her character and go to the planet, buy the customization, and then slip the 10K back into her pocket before she noticed.
Nice.
And she's like, something different about Kim Ball.
Hello, could be this.
He also couldn't stand that I had, what was it, like a vibro staff or a sword or something on him that clipped through his back. He couldn't stand that
Oh
either.
my
So
God.
he made me get that axe from the cartel market. What is it, the Gamora
I
axe?
Orion
cannot
axe.
stand when companions have weapons clipping into their body.
Like, this was in Kim Ball's back meat. Fred
Remember-
hated it.
Doesn't the new Flashpoint one of my non drop the new swords?
I do not know.
I had to ask. Hey, Jay, Buckeye, refresh my memory. Doesn't one of those at the operation of new Flashpoint? Doesn't one of them drop the swords, the actual swords you can use? I'm trying to remember because I saw someone on the fleet with those. And I was like, damn, I've got to get those on my Marauder and my Sentinel because those are too cool. I'd actually swap out, the Mace Windu inspired, sabers for those.
He's too busy talking about something else. He's not even
The
listening to
Mace
us.
Windu inspired sabers have a bonus to flying out windows.
Yes, and inspiring you to get screwed over by one of your teammates. Gets
Which is
Thank you
generally-
for throwing Samuel L. Jackson out the window.
all right, Jay. Which ops? Do you remember? Trying to remember. I got a man. I'm planning for those. I got a plan ahead for those.
I hate when Lou plays on his phone and asks Jay questions during the show.
I
No,
think he's asking him in Twitch.
I'm having Twitch right now.
I'm
But
aware of that. It's called
Speaking of-
roleplay.
we're speaking of planning. I know I'm also going to create Republic characters on Shadowlands now to complement the ones we have for the Loathing Group. Because I assume we're going to go for HK51. So
Yes.
we're going to need Republic characters too.
We actually need to get UHK over on Jedi Covenant.
Yeah, because I totally admit to slacking on that. On all my max level characters, I have the beginning quest. I just never bothered doing it.
Well, you need to do the parts that you can do, like actually go out there and gather the parts, and then when it comes down to doing the heroic, we will help you because there's some mechanics involved.
All right.
We will help you. I just got volunteered for this.
When I said we, I wasn't counting you. I meant me and Broommark.
Wow. No, I'd be happy to help you, Lou. And Fred, when Lou is making a holo call, you just leave him alone. Have another drink.
I'm so sad.
And that wraps up my week in game. Brett, what were you doing?
Well, Buckeye just said that it drops from Corruptor 0 on hard mode and Nightmare mode, Dread Fortress.
That means I gotta get in gear and start upping my mod some more. Getting gear for that. Damn.
Okay, well, over the last week, I've done a moderate amount in SWTOR. Unintentionally, I've kind of spent my time doing other things, which I'm going to get into here. But what I did in SWTOR, I was playing my Sith Assassin. He's up to level 22 now, and Biochem is closing in on 200. So hopefully when he gets to 25, I'll be able to make the implants for him right off the bat. And I've been doing PvP on him in order to keep his Valor rank even with his level. And I was getting pop-ups telling me, well, not pop-ups, but in the chat it kept telling me, you're almost at the Warzone comm limit. So I traded them all in for the level 40 credit boxes. And it got me about 80k when I traded in 2300 comms. So I didn't do too shabby on that to get 80k pretty much instantly on a level 22. And I'm not really interested in saving up and doing the weapon dances and stuff for PvP because this isn't going to be a PvP character. I just want to get the titles unlocked on him because I haven't done that yet and I want the achievements. And in our leveling group, my Sith Juggernaut is now level 20.
Not 18.
Unlike Lou, I've completed the Dark Temple area.
I don't know where he was.
And I had been mistaken. I had been thinking that I was a biochemist on him, but in fact, I picked up cybertech for some stupid reason.
Why?
I don't know. I'm probably going to drop that and pick up biochem like I was originally planning. Maybe I need to not hit the Jawa juice before I pick up my crew skills.
Before you hit that part of the fleet, go to the cantina and order coffee. Or, no, I'm sorry, what they call it in Star Wars, calf. Have a
I
calf.
like to sniff the calf beans and then chew them.
Ew.
Gritty.
I have been hitting up the black hole dailies on my Jedi Guardian on Shadowlands because I still need money there. I'm also too lazy to leave the black hole, so I just do those dailies because I can knock them out in about 20 minutes.
It's like, well, I'm already here.
Yeah. Even though I could fleet pass and travel somewhere else for free, like I needed to a few weeks ago. Thank you, BioWare, for my handout transport. I also created a gunslinger on Jedi Covenant for the sole purpose of bringing my legacy over to the Shadowlands at some point. But I'm in no rush to do that because I'm enjoying unlocking achievements that I already have over there. And I've been playing Jedi Knight Jedi Academy some more.
Yeah.
Doing more missions with Jaden Core. It's kind of refreshing after you've been playing in the Old Republic era for so long to actually be interacting with characters like Luke Skywalker and Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more action-based, too, than KOTOR and SWTOR are. And you can carry a huge variety of weapons on you at one time and switch between them seamlessly.
Yep, and if I remember correctly, Jedi Academy also gave you completely different fighting styles, depending on what you equipped, which is awesome.
I don't know, because I'm still stuck with the one-handed lightsaber. But
Wow.
I know that as I play it, I'll be offered other weapons, and you even get the option to go to the dark side.
Dude, if you choose to dual wield with your character there, you will want them to bring that over to SWTOR. Like, wait a minute. Same license, same franchise. Bring those animations to SWTOR.
I've been thinking hard about picking up the Force Unleashed.
Didn't I buy you that?
You bought me the Force Unleashed too, and I can't find it.
Oh my god.
But I've been thinking about rebuying it on Steam.
No. You find the copy I bought you.
I already deployed ID-10T on that crew skill.
Oh my god.
But he keeps failing, unfortunately. Last time he brought me loose socks.
Is that what he's doing on the ship right now, looking for your game?
No, what he's doing on the ship right now is sending ZZ the coordinates to get to us, and you see how well that's worked out. But I'm watching Steam, and when it goes on sale, I may pick that up. Don't tell Paige. Because that looks like an awesome dual-wielding game. Not the first one, but the second one. Because that's all you see in the advertisements is him running around with dual-wielding lightsabers. And the force powers are just ridiculous in that game because I actually played a demo of that in Best Buy one time.
Hey Fred, Jay in the chat is saying the only reason we cleared Hammer Station is because we out-leveled it. How you feel about that?
Jay who?
Jay Connell is dead.
Where's the bus? Beep beep.
Gonna tie him to a rocket and send him out whatever planet we stranded ZZ on.
Well, you sent ZZ out, so you know where the coordinates are.
Well, Jay, I see that you're saying you want to see some gameplay at level. Well, when we get to 55, or probably 65 by the time we get there, when we hit the level cap, that's when you actually see stuff at level. Because when you're running around on a group of 4 and doing every class quest in your faction, it's impossible to stay behind the content. Tell him, Lou.
Right, yeah. You're absolutely right.
Lou.
Anyway, patch 2.10 has landed, if you haven't heard already.
2.10, guys.
That's right. 2.10.
Don't drop the 0 like I did.
You dropped
All right.
much more than the 0 that episode.
Yeah, I dropped it like it's hot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, she made the reference there. Anyway, we have some highlights in case you may have missed it. New Flashpoint, Legacy of the Rakata, where the Forge Alliance's storyline culminates on the remote tropical world of Rakata Prime. In this thrilling level 55 tactical Flashpoint. And welcome to Ranked Warzone Arena Season 3. Join the brutality in the Ranked Warzone Arena queue as we begin our third season of Carnage. The leaderboards have been updated for Season 3, and the Season 2 results have been archived.
You know, on that note, though, just the fact that they are already moving into Ranked Season 3, and they already said they were working on rewards up to Ranked Season 5, right around the time everybody was disappointed with the rewards for Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much know that the next 3 seasons are going to suck.
Well, let's hope not.
Just by them saying that they already had rewards in mind, but they're welcoming feedback for the future. We'll see if they pivot as they're moving for this next season.
Pivot.
But, well, I really hope they take that to heart and actually listen to the PvP crowd and say, you know what? This is what we've got going on. All right, we told you we have stuff up to Season 5. This is what we're proposing. What are your thoughts? And you know what, BioWare, take the feedback. I mean, you're asking these players to go for an entire season and then, you keep them in the dark because you want to give them a sense to play. And then you give them something that's not so cool.
Have a helmet that you're probably going to hide anyway.
Right. I mean, come on. For one, the PvE crowd has a lot of variety to choose from. In PvP crowd, yeah, they have some really cool armors too, but you know what? If you're asking them to do ranked stuff for how many months, and then essentially you're going to give them something that's, a collective letdown? Come on.
Oh, that's going to be our new reference. When we get to the end of Season 3, we're going to say, so what's the collective letdown this time?
The PvP crowd, they busted their butts for how many months, and what are they getting? And what's behind curtain number 1? Oh, you got a pet.
It'd be great if they gave them another helmet. So if you rank in both seasons, you can only wear one.
Oh my god.
Put the Baron Deathmark helmet on Quinn.
Yikes.
Or what if... I got it. The only way that they could possibly get worse than the last season reward is they need to give you a chest piece for your ship droid.
Another butler outfit.
No, it's not even customizable. It's just a piece of armor for droids.
Oh my god.
And it's only equipable by your ship droid.
Uh,
And when you mouse over it, it just says, You won! Rank Season 3!
you don't even get a cool stronghold item to put in there. All you get is a lousy shirt for your droid.
All I'm saying is the PvP community deserves better than that.
Yeah, they seriously do. I mean, come on.
I mean, there were some people like, oh yeah, the helmet's cool, but I mean, come on. Season 1 gave them a unique mount that at the time nobody else in the game could get. And then this time they gave them a crappy helmet that, okay, a helmet is always going to be polarizing, especially when it's the only slot in the game that you can just check a box and hide it. People want to see their characters' faces. If you're going to give them a piece of armor, give them something else, like a chest piece or some gloves, something that's going to be displayed all the time, or give them a unique weapon.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a weapon skin for every possible weapon type and give it to that character that plays. But a helmet
Feedback.
is a bad idea. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't need to give them the feedback. They got pages and pages of feedback on that reward.
Yeah, this is true. But, sorry folks, we went off on a tangent there. Nightmare Power has been
I
removed.
think anybody that listens to us knows that's kind of how it goes now, Lou. We don't need to apologize for our tangents. That's how the show goes.
How we roll. As I mentioned, the Nightmare Power buff has been removed from the Dread Palace. And the Deposer of the Dread Masters title can no longer be obtained. Congratulations to all who overcame this challenge. Conquest objectives can now be tracked by checking the track option in the Conquest UI. Lots of classes have had changes and skill trees have been reset for some, but not all. So take a look on your characters. If you're like me, where you have quite a handful of characters to go checking over and fixing, please do so.
The Star Wars recommendation of the week is awesome. It's actually for those who are either really tiny or have children. It is a Star Wars rocking tauntaun. It's hand-carved poplar and oak wood. It's actually available on Etsy. It's $500, but it's worth it. And I think I'm short enough that I think I could ride it.
Wait, I'm looking right now.
Isn't it amazing? Someone hand-carved that thing. I'm pretty sure there's only one available, though.
Yeah, I see right there, only one available, folks. And you know what? Someone's probably playing saying, hey,
Hang on, I'm punching in my credit card right now.
can I want the Ashfall look of my Tauntaun rocket. You'll get one version, sir.
That's when you need to buy a can of Rust-Oleum and spray that thing.
Where are all the cool looking packs and attachments for the Tauntaun saddle? I don't see him here.
It has a suede leather seat. That thing is legit, guys.
Oh yeah,
That's going to make someone very happy.
$500.
Only.
I wonder if any of our listeners are buying it right now. Oh my god, my kid would love this!
You realize it's just for me. Ha! Ha, ha. It's going to go in the corner. It's
No.
going to be a keepsake.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It lists the measurements, or the dimensions rather. Like the seat height 17 inches, total height 28 inches. I mean, that's not even 3 feet. So
I mean, you can get this thing for just shy of 3 years subscription to SWTOR.
Rocking Tauntaun or your sub to the game.
I don't know, man. If your entire gameplay is just dailies, you might get more entertainment out of the rocking tauntaun.
I want this for adults, but I want it on a merry-go-round. Like you could ride a bunch of tauntauns just in circles, be like, whee!
I want them to make a rocking tauntaun toy, and that to be the season 3 PvP reward.
You could put it in your house and rock on it.
Character sits on the fleet, just rocking on a tauntaun while you're waiting for a PvP queue.
You know, they just might buy that. They just might go for that. Some would. But you know what? Speaking of Paige's idea of a merry-go-round, you know, Star Tours down in Florida. Come on now.
Don't tease me. I want to go so bad.
You
They
know
could
what
probably do
I've
something
been
like that.
really curious about lately, though, Lou?
What's that?
The Kuat drive yards.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea where I might be able to learn a little bit more about that?
Why, yes, in the upcoming segment, my intelligence report, we'll be covering the Kuwait Drive Yards. And it's part 1, Starship Builders Extraordinaire. And, quick little quote from their advertisement. This is a KDY ad, folks. At Kuwait Drive Yards, we're driven to excel. It is this uncompromising commitment to performance that has made us the largest military shipbuilding corporation in the universe. So, Kuwait Drive Yards, or KDY, was the largest military shipbuilding corporation in the galaxy at the time of the Galactic Civil War. Of course, they're based on Kuwait. KDY mainly sold its products to the Galactic Empire and the Galactic Republic previously. Many Kuwait products can be found in TIE fighters, armored fighting vehicles such as AT-STs and AT-ATs, Star Destroyers, and other military vehicles. Kuwait Drive Yards does not sell only to the Imperials, however. Many planetary governments purchase these weapons for the purposes of defending their planet from the war. These circumstances helped to make Kuwait Drive Yards one of the most famous corporations in the galaxy. Founding in its early history, KDY was founded in the early days of the Galactic Republic by a group of human aristocrats known as the Ten. These merchants, led by the Kuwait family, joined together with the intent to create the largest, most efficient shipyard in the galaxy. They hired terraformers to change the planet Kuwait and the core worlds into a paradise world, while engineers designed and built the first 6 of many orbital shipyard complexes. That project faced opposition from fledgling trade consortia as well as internal dissent within the merchant families. Despite their use of sabotage, espionage, and hired pirate groups, the trade groups failed to stop the Kuwait families, who settled their internal differences by signing the inheritance exemption, which gave the Kuwait family perpetual control over Kuwait Drive Yards. After these early difficulties, the shipyard grew rapidly in both size and prestige. And by 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, it was known as a first-class galactic shipbuilder. In the millennia that followed, the shipyards became noted for building warships that served in the Republic Navy throughout both the old Sith Wars and the new Sith Wars. KDY was not a top-tier shipyard, however. That title was held by the triumvirate made up of Korv Galaxy Systems, Corellia Star Drive, and Horus Kessel Drive Incorporated. Kuat set its sights on becoming a member of this group and engaged in a vicious competition with Korv Galaxy Systems. Between price wars, industrial espionage, and more underhanded tactics, Korv Galaxy suffered severe losses and was forced to sell its assets. In 500 years before the Battle of Yavin, KDY bought the company and retired the Korv Galaxy Systems name. With this purchase, Kuat took its place as the top shipbuilder in the Old Republic. It was soon joined by the Corellian Engineering Corporations, or CEC, which had bought out Corellia Star Drive when the old company lost its entire senior design team in a shuttle accident. Expansion and investment. KDY quickly earned a reputation as a predatory company. Besides Korv Galaxy, Kuat rapidly bought up a number of other small shipbuilders and built factories in a number of worlds outside the Kuat sector. Belderon, Karavis, Rothana, and Zafel were among many worlds to contribute to the KDY construction effort, either directly or through subsidiary corporations such as Rothana Heavy Engineering and Ubrikian Industries. That lousy-looking speeder. Sorry. KDY also had a tendency to create subsidiaries to focus on specific markets. Kuat Leisure focused on civilian vessels. Kuat Vehicles built air speeders, land speeders, and speeder bikes. Kuat Systems Engineering was responsible for starfighter design and light patrol craft. Chempat Engineered Defenses, owing jointly with CEC, designed and built starship shield generators and sensor arrays. KDY was also a significant member in several commercial trade groups, and had 2 members on the Trade Federation Directorate. The company was also part of the Techno Union, but at some point prior to the Clone Wars decided to cut their ties. Kuat Drive Yards was also a founding member of the Corporate Sector Authority. In exchange for an investment of 50 Quadrillion credits, half in direct gifts of credits and equipment, the other half in the purchase of CSA stock and bonds, KDY received a position as a signatory sponsor, allowing it complete access to advertise and sell its products in the corporate sector, as well as extremely discounted prices for bulk goods and raw materials which were necessary for the large-scale construction KDY often undertook. The Clone Wars through the Battle of Yavin. In the centuries prior to the Clone Wars, Kuat Drive Yards constructed a number of large warship designs, including several massive star battlecruisers and star dreadnoughts as part of the Kuat Sector Defense Fleet. Some of their experimentation with large designs came about due to their membership in the Techno Union. After the split, KDY decided to create new starships only for the Galactic Republic. Prior to the invasion of Naboo, it was expected that KDY would support the Trade Federation in its opposition to the proposed taxation of trade routes. However, ties between the two entities soured when Newt Gunray orchestrated the assassination of the rest of the Trade Federation Directorate, including the 2 Kuwaiti delegates. Shortly afterwards, Rothana Heavy Engineering was subcontracted by the cloners of Camino to build a full range of assault starships and combat vehicles for a secret clone army. Shortly before the Clone Wars, the company also developed modifications on behalf of the Jedi Order to the Delta 7 interceptor design in its research shipyards above Gindin. Despite its earlier Republic commitment, at the beginning of the conflict, Kuat was secretly contracted by the Separatists to build a fleet of heavily armed combat vessels that visually resembled bulk freighters. Some senators later claimed that the Storm Fleet contract was an act of treason, but Chancellor Palpatine called it a simple incident of mistaken corporate connections, and KDY escaped punishment. The Clone Army and RHE built vessels soon saw the first action at the Battle of Geonosis, a skirmish which kicked off the Clone Wars. With a number of major shipyards under control of the Techno Union and other members of the CIS, Kuat was suddenly besieged with orders for capital ships. Within days of the Battle of Geonosis, an order for an additional 1,000 acclimated transports was sent. More orders followed for a wide variety of warships, support vessels, and ground armor, everything from medical ships to heavy assault walkers. Kuat also engaged in espionage against Neimodia, leading to an increased arms race between the two industrial complexes. Kuat took measures to protect their facilities by increasing the number of security personnel, upgrading their sector forces, scattering massive minefields around the respective sectors and cutting off a section of the Hydean way to traffic. The Republic also placed warships along the outer border of the Coat system. At this point, Coat's importance to the Republic was so great that even Trade Federation officials remarked on the need to silence Coat before any eventual campaign against Coruscant itself. News involving the company was published on digital billboards on Coruscant during the conflict. Despite being the single largest and most powerful shipyard in the galaxy, the scale of the Clone Wars is beyond even KDY's ability. In order to keep up with the demand for vessels and match separatist shipyards, KDY joined forces with other loyal companies such as CEC and Rendili Star Drive. CEC focused on small troop transports, corvettes, and gunships, while Rendili and KDY formed the Victor Initiative project to share development experience for heavy multi-role warships. Two key figures would emerge in this program: Walix Blissix and his daughter Lyra Blissix. Walix was assigned to head the Rendili effort, which resulted in the Victory 1 class Star Destroyer. Dun, dun, dun. The Victory class was rushed into full production 6 months early when a Techno-Union fleet broke the blockade of Forost. The Victory fleet managed to defeat the Bulwark fleet and Anaxes and won significant support for the concept of heavy capital warships. The KDY team, led by Lyra, produced 2 designs. The first, the Venator class Star Destroyer, was designed to be a multi-role warship and an escort for larger battleships. The Venator was larger than the Victory and carried a far larger fighter complement. The second design, the Imperator class Star Destroyer, was produced in far fewer numbers during the wars, but gained an increase in production once the conflict was over. The Tector class Star Destroyer also began its production line, but had a similar service record to the Imperator, only heading a few Republic task forces. Meanwhile, the Venator suffered from an inauspicious start. Several of the first ships were involved in a Senate scandal, which resulted in the loss of Duro. Despite this, the Venator proved itself and led the Republic to issue orders for many thousands of the ships. Over 1,000 ships alone would take part in the Battle of Coruscant. Venators and the other KDY warships produced during the war were promoted as the cause of most Republic victories by the company. By war's end, even heavier designs, like the Mandator II class Star Dreadnought, helped fill out the Republic Navy's roster. The company also began producing the military Cardin class space station, but this design was not fielded until after the war. The Clone War designed Gladiator class Star Destroyer was also handed over from Rendili Star Drive and made it into a warship that enforced the fringes of galactic society after the end of the war. As the war drew to a close, the Venator class production line slowed down in favor of more Imperators and Tectors. These classes went on to have a more illustrious career under the Galactic Empire, while older ships like the Acclamator and Victory served as support ships. The Venator class gradually disappeared from regular military forces, seeing service only with private defense forces of various mobs and underworld factions. At the Empire's founding, security was increased, and the orbital facilities and space stations were militarized and augmented to ensure continued production of warships. Kuwait was issued its own MOF to oversee the sector. In addition, because of Palpatine's desire to expand Imperial rule throughout the civilized galaxy, Kuwait kept producing multiple warships and ground vehicles in spite of the Clone Wars being over. Because of their support for Emperor Palpatine, KDY received the majority of the contracts for building up the Imperial Navy. In order to focus on capital ships, Kuwait Systems Engineering was folded back into the main KDY line, and several of the Starfighter designs were sold to Sayonara Fleet Systems. For several decades, KDY maintained a rich catalog of destroyers, cruisers, battlecruisers, and battleships for the Empire. The pinnacle of the KDY line was to be another Lyra Wessex contribution. About 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, KDY drew up plans for a Titanic warship, one even more powerful than the Mandator IIs of the Clone Wars. The new Star Dreadnought design was vehemently opposed by a number of Imperial admirals, but Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine took a personal interest in the program. As the Death Star project neared completion, the Imperial Navy changed its mind and most admirals began to support the concept of a terror styling that the new design represented. It was also hoped that the new ship could provide the Navy their own superweapon to compete with the Death Star. 4 ships were ordered, though the first ship, Executor, began construction at Fondor rather than Kuwait. There were several possible reasons for this move, including the need for secrecy, Darth Vader's plan to use the construction of the Executor to draw out treasonous officers and rebel spies, a simple demonstration of superiority by Palpatine over KDY, which had made attempts to remain independent of the Empire, or retaliation for KDY's refusals to participate in any part of the Death Star project. Irritated, KDY began construction of the second ship of the class at the same time, also naming Executor. Meanwhile, the company continued to take contracts from other parties, including an order for custom exploration ships for Alderaan just prior to its destruction. So sad. Several more special projects were begun as well, notably the Eclipse, a super laser armed star dreadnought. Despite these new projects, KDY was still able to produce Imperial-class ships at a high rate, allowing the Imperial Navy to reach a strength of at least 25,000 of these ships. And this concludes Part 1. Next week, we pick up with Co-Ed Drivers Part 2, The Galactic Civil War. And, as always, I want to say thank you to Wikipedia, StarWars.com, Force.net, and other great Star Wars lore sites out there. Folks, if you enjoy the Star Wars lore as much as I do, please visit these sites. Go out there, look up your topics, and enjoy.
You know, Lou, I think anybody that's played SWTOR might argue with you when you say it's sad that Alderaan gets destroyed.
Well, in the future.
Yeah, but I think people can't wait for it to happen once they play through it a few times in this game.
I couldn't wait for it to happen my first playthrough. My operative. I hate this planet. Why can't it be now? Why can't it be episode 4 now?
You want it to be episode 4 while you're on the planet?
No, while I'm flying away on my ship.
Why can't Ben be now?
Why can't that be now? Hey, what's that? Is that a moon? That's no moon. Space shit. I'm getting the hell out of here.
No moon. All right, Lou. So that brings us into the community holo feed.
Exactly, where we cover your emails, tweets, Facebook feedback. And the first item, the trivia question of the week. Each week, we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com, and we'll link you right to the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button you press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes. Then, shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. In the email, include your character name, faction, did I say faction? And what server you're on.
What about faction?
Yes, please mention it.
Do we have to include our faction?
Yes, along with your server and character name. Along with your faction.
What about our faction, though?
It's always helpful. If there is more than one correct answer, we'll do a random drawing to win the cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly, though, will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we'll draw on the show every few weeks. Or months. That's up to Fred. You can be entered into the grand prize drawing every time that you answer correctly. So if you didn't win this week, folks, if you still have the correct answer, remember you're entered into that larger overall pool for a much bigger prize. And we want to congratulate last week's winner, Chris S. He answered correctly. Okay, the answer to last week's trivia question was Tahiri Vela. Okay, who was she? She was a sand person. She was Sith. She was also a Jedi Knight.
What? Sand people have names?
Pow, mind blown.
She does, because sand people, what happens every now and then, they share a similar trait to Mandalorians. They will actually adopt orphans. So in Tahiri's case, because the sand people there wiped out her settlement, she's one of the few.
So, hold on, wait a minute. So, if Ben hadn't gone back to Uncle Owen's farm with Luke, there's a possibility Luke could have been a sand person.
No, it's more along the lines of what they usually do is, especially for children, if they see children there, okay, the sand people have a habit of taking them. They'll spare them, but they'll take them with them.
In Star Wars, nobody gets abducted by aliens. You get abducted and adopted by sand people.
So yeah, the sand people will actually take them in and bring them back to the settlements and raise them as their own.
Oh, that would be a fate worse than death. Because, we've all seen the Power Rangers. All you gotta do is kick one of them things in the chest and they're dead. Buddy Patrol, Sand Person, same thing.
Yeah. So yes, it was Tahiri Vela. She was also, like I said, she became a Jedi Knight. She fell to the dark side, openly served as a Sith in the EU, and then, like every other great story, she was redeemed and became a Jedi Knight again.
What kind of great story is that? It's a bullcrap story. George Lucas always ruining the ending.
Hey, he's famous for retconning. Leave him alone.
She needs to go back to this one, and she needs to just stay a Sith where she belongs.
And speaking of feedback, that brings us on to our Twitter feedback, where Madmar said he's grinding conquest points and listening to @StarWarsBeyond, which Marks _Swotor replied to @Swotor Family and @StarWarsBeyond. Good idea! Forgot that downloaded yesterday.
You forgot us?
And Brian from the Bad Feeling Podcast. Woohoo! Thrown under the bus! But it's getting a little crowded under here. And Buckeye said, better than under my bridge. I hate guests.
Oh, damn.
And Jason Brown, just now listening to last week's episode. GLS, which equals Galactic Land Speeder, with races on Tatooine.
We did have something from Facebook. Mike said 2 things to us. Are you guys putting a new episode on iTunes soon? I need my Korv fix. And he also posted a link to a very cool kind of SWOTOR swag. I don't want to say it's a SWOTOR swag website, but there's some pretty awesome things on there. It's dorkees.com, DORKEES.com. And they have some of the coolest clothes on there. They have socks on there that have like the Imperial
like
symbol on them.
$30 socks or
They're
something?
like $25 socks. And like some of the shirts are like $25, but I really, really like the socks.
You know, if they put Imperial bands there, pay to buy them.
That would be the last place I would buy socks. As it stands right now, I get a bag of socks, and they're practically disposable. I wear them once, and then when I take my shoes off, my toes are poking through every opening.
That's because you don't take a bath.
And also because I don't cut my toenails.
Oh. Oh.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah,
Just freak out of the bed.
this is where I tell my Imperial interrogator join on myself saying, wipe my mind, please, for that image.
Alright, everybody put on your sunglasses. I'm gonna flash this thing and make Lou forget.
Lou, we also got an email this week, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And from Wesley T, who wrote in, I am Thunder God of the Utini Rage Guild. I just wanted to say you guys are such a refreshing presence on the SWOTOR podcast scene. I absolutely loved episode 0. And the way y'all slip in and out of character and do impromptu acts, awesome. Give me more.
R.
Y'all should start a cartoon or audio show or something. And where can I find that opening Star Wars jam? It's so freaking cool.
Funny thing, we do an audio show every week.
It's called a podcast.
But if you mean one in character, we all are acting our personas. Stay tuned. That's all we can say.
Well, we could say more, but we don't like you. Oh, I mean, we could say more, but not now.
We'll do a Bioware soon. TM.
And as for that opening Star Wars jam, you could probably find it somewhere out on the internet. It's actually a bunch of different Star Wars things merged together to paper mache an intro together.
An impromptu mix, folks. It's in there somewhere.
Basically, I just started cutting audio files and splicing things together, and that's what came out. Put it all in the blender, and that's how our intro and our outro came to be.
It's a smoothie jam. It's been in the blender. That's really lame.
Space Jam!
Oh my god!
Welcome to the Space Jam! Do we owe Michael Jordan money now?
We probably do.
Don't they make like $8,000 a minute or something?
I don't know. He sells something like 800 hot dogs a day. It's a ballpark endorsement. I don't know about you guys, though, but if some ex-basketball player was wearing nothing but Hanes and trying to sell me hot dogs, I don't know. I just don't know.
This coming from the same guy who just reaches up his robes and's like, hey guys, I got candy.
You want a Twizzler, Lou?
No! No, keep it away from me. Thank you.
No, that's okay.
There you go, Tricky. That's a good Tricky. So, Paige,
Yes. What?
what's going on in the SWTOR community?
In the SWTOR community, you can check out these up-to-date podcast episodes. UntiniCast episode 164 is available at untinicast.com since the 11th of September. SWTOR Escape podcast episode 55 available at newoverlords.com since the 10th of September. Old Republic Radio episode 77 available the 9th is on iTunes. Healing SWTOR released another episode on the 13th to iTunes. Enmity podcast episode 52 released on the 15th to iTunes. Hey, that's today. And the Bad Feeling podcast episode 31 posted on the 11th to iTunes and badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that podcast is explicit. Also, follow Madmar at SWTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. If you'd like to have your podcast listed in this segment, send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com.
Yes, and quickly, I'm going to run down all the wonderful ways you can get a hold of us. If you still want to after this episode. You can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. You can send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. You can tweet me at Sith Lord Korv, Korv. You can tweet Lou at GamerGuy11B. You can tweet Paige at Asaphiry, Asaphiry. And you can find our lost bounty hunter ZZ at ZZ Corrode. And now it's time for our final thoughts.
I wish ZZ would have been here to bring us a sense of normalcy. I'm just kidding. I had fun with you guys. And I can't wait to play tomorrow.
Do you want me to dig up a clip of him saying, "I hunt bounty," and put it in here?
I want to hear for the money, too.
Don't worry, with editing magic, he will make that happen.
I could, dig in one of those musical clips or something of, "She was hard for the money."
No. No, that's okay.
No, that's totally the 180 from what I think she's expecting.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Never mind.
My final thoughts, I am never again taking candy from a Sith Lord. Ever. Again.
And my final thought is I'm glad I didn't tell Lou how long that's been in my robe.
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Good night, everyone on social media and friends in Twitch and on YouTube.
Good night, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Take care. See you all again next time.
Quinn!
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars, trivia question for the week of September 15th, 2014. First clue. We did our duty, following neither the light or the dark, and seen as neutral to those of a similar path. Second clue. Although we answered to only one person in the galaxy, our allegiance and loyalty were not part of that service. Third clue. Our training was harsh, disciplined, but not cruel, and often took years to accomplish. No one has ever failed our regiment. Fourth clue. Death was the only punishment for our transgressions and the only release from our oath of service. Fifth clue. We were seen as oddities, or aberrations within the galaxy. Ancient evil often sought to corrupt us, but we always remained steadfast in our duty. Who or what am I? And as always, folks, please send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com, and in your answer, please include your character name, your faction, and what server you play on. Good luck to everyone. See you all next time.